I understand you've got a presentation. Yeah, we'll let you start.
Kia ora koutou katoa.
Thanks very much for the chance for us to talk to you about Venues Ōtautahi's 22-23 quarter 2 performance. We're going to do this by having Caroline talk through with you the main elements of the in the presentation, and then we'll open it for questions for anyone to ask further matters which Caroline and Dale will deal with. But thanks very much for the opportunity to do this. It's important for us to tell you where we're at.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming.
Lovely, thanks. Katoa, lovely to see you all again. So look, you've obviously read our report, and it always feels when we get here, it's quite retrospective. So our presentation talks a little bit about some of those highlights of the second quarter, and probably a little bit more about the second half, but also looking a little bit forward into the last 2 quarters of the financial year. So just to kick off, looking back at Q1 and Q2, 17 major events delivered. So we have a target in our statement of intent to attract and deliver 14. So we're already surpassed that target, which is awesome at the halfway point of the year. So some of those highlights, 660, we had All Blacks, Black Ferns, the Wiggles, which I'm sure you all enjoyed. The Colours, Fast 5 netball series, which was awesome. So just some real genuine highlights. And again, not to labour the point of the last couple of years, but to see this activity back, to see our community coming together and really enjoying these events is just a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. And the demand is there and the content is there. Looking forward, and some of this is sort of looking forward and looking back given where we are in the year, but Jimmy Carr in January, we've got Black Caps Sri Lanka Test, and we've got the ODI next week. Dave Chappelle, Michael McIntyre was last night, which was brilliant. Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. The Black Clash, obviously, and we're really looking forward to Cirque du Soleil on ice in June. Some more shows got released yesterday, given there's a really good uptake on ticket sales. So the forecast looks really good. Now, obviously, we're mindful that, you know, we're in a recessionary environment and the discretionary dollar could come under a bit of pressure. But at the minute, it feels like after the last couple of years when those experiences were taken away from us so quickly and without any warning, the demand is still there to spend your discretionary dollar on experience versus perhaps a more material item. So for us and for the city, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So again, just looking at some other highlights around event attractions. So we have a forecast in our SOI to host around 400,000 guests in the venues per year. Now, at the end of this half year, we are at 327,000. But year to date, we're actually already now surpassed that 400. So we're looking more like around 600,000, which again, just amazing, really, given what's happened over the last couple of years. We budgeted 305 events. We're looking to deliver 396. And at the halfway point of the year, events across the venue portfolio have delivered an estimated 14.5 million of economic impact. Now, obviously, with some of those major events in January, February, and looking forward to the end of the year, we're on track to surpass an estimated 30 million of estimated economic impact in this financial year. Supporting local. So this won't be a surprise to you, but it's great just to see everything still on track. So in the first half of the year, we procured 79% of our food and beverage from Canterbury, and the remainder predominantly from the South and North Island. Again, not to go back to prior to April 2020, but that's a massive shift. Again, you know, we're yet to see any impacts. We were worried a little bit about whether there might be impacts of Cyclone Gabrielle on maybe some diversion of Canterbury produce to the north and putting a bit of pressure. We're not seeing that yet. Whether we will is a watching brief. But what we're also finding, we are finding that food costs are going up, but we think we're less exposed given how we're procuring locally around transport and shipping particularly. So, you know, I think we're well positioned to weather that storm. And so what that translates to year to date, well, as at the end of December, is just over 900,000 of direct contribution to local suppliers and producers. And that means that we are well on track to what we had targeted for the financial year, of that being around 1.7. As of the end of February, that's already at 1.3. So again, we're tracking really, really well, and seeing that those choices that we're making around supporting local is having a direct impact for local producers and suppliers. Community events. So to date, to the end of December, we have hosted 40 events that have attracted a community discount. That meets already our year-end target. And so obviously we're well on track to surpass that, and to a value of around 110,000 in community discount. So again, we'll continue to support those community events as much as we can, and expect obviously those numbers to well and truly increase. A couple of highlights around sustainability and health, safety and wellbeing, two strategic priorities for Venues Ōtautahi. So we have a target, same as council obviously, for carbon neutrality by 2030. We have partnered with Toitu on their accreditation program, so working towards that, and also have commenced our planning to be a B Corp, so getting that accreditation as well. We have a new waste management partnership, and we'll be trialling some land diversion, some sorting at the Crusaders match on Friday in support of their sustainability goals as well, so in partnership with the Crusaders, and are hoping to obviously roll that out for all of the venues. And we've also recently partnered with a external consultancy just to help us a little bit with our sustainability strategy and roadmap, so we can take that onwards and deliver against that. In the last half of last year, we also engaged a review of our health and safety management system, which was a really valuable process, and we've accepted all of the recommendations there and progressed all of those. And so really looking forward, focused on continuous improvement, as well as having a genuine and wholehearted focus on the management of critical risk. And Te Kaha. So Venues Ōtautahi have continued our intensive engagement around design, so obviously getting to the pointy end there. So we've moved through developed into detailed design, and have continued to reconcile all of those design decisions back to those strategic design fundamentals. So sustainability, accessibility and inclusivity, operational functionality, commercial viability, multi-use. And so making sure that all of the decisions that we make along that path reconcile to those, because that underpins the investment case and the ability to deliver against that. And also working through where there is a capital versus whole of life potential trade-off. Obviously these are legacy decisions for council and for us, and so it's important that we work through those with the Te Kaha project delivery team and the contractor. Communications, so you would have noted yesterday in the Te Kaha presentation, we are creating a venue comm strategy and a project comm strategy. For venue communications, that's around genuine community engagement with Te Kaha. We want to start telling the story of Te Kaha, start bringing the venue to life, and that's what will underpin our communication strategy, but also will underpin our commercial strategy. And on that, obviously with confidence around the project going forward, we have the brand and narrative have been created. We have undertaken phase 1 of a 2-phase commercial strategy. So phase 1 is around the identification and valuation of all of the commercial assets, and that has been concluded. And then the next phase is obviously the development and execution of the commercial strategy, which we intend to kick off. Well, the development is now, but the execution from May. And then event attraction, which is already in our minds, but in real terms is probably something we start in earnest mid to late this year. Business events have a longer lead time, but some of the entertainment events are a little bit shorter lead time. Financial performance. So again, this is going to be, touch wood, our first year of full year of trading since FY 18-19, since before the town hall opened. So thank you, COVID, for that. So we are on track to complete this year, which is a delight. We have a $906,000 positive revenue variance against budget to the end of 2022. And an $882,000 positive variance against EBITDA. At the minute, we're already incurring some Te Kaha pre-opening costs, so thinking about the development and execution of commercial strategies, etc., and we're managing that within our cash flows and operating expenses. So obviously, it's a really strong start to the financial year, which stands us in really good stead for what could be challenging economic conditions. We're already there, but we're preparing for what will be increasingly challenging conditions. But the positive and solid start of the year, it stands us in good stead. And as I've said, increases in food costs, utilities, insurance, and whether that pressure on the discretionary dollar becomes a real thing are certainly in our mind. And just a bit of a recap on how our operating support is prioritised. So we have $4.8 million of annual fixed asset management and maintenance costs. And those are really fixed costs. They are about maintaining the assets to ensure that they're safe, compliant and operationally functional. So from council we get $4 million in total. $1 million of that is around debt servicing. And $3 million goes towards those fixed asset maintenance and management costs. So that covers 68% of those expenses, and the remainder is offset by our operating revenues. So looking forward to next year, we will have 5.4, so you do see that increasing. That's around predominantly things like insurance and utilities going up. And so our current funding will contribute 57%, so we'll offset the remaining 2.4 through our own operating revenues. And just of note on the debt servicing, so obviously at the minute it's 1 million, but that will reduce to 200,000 in 23-24 and to nil in 24-25. So that'll bring that total operating and debt servicing support from 4 to 3. Thought I'd finished. And just a couple of highlights. These aren't captured in the quarter, but I just wanted to flag them because it's a wonderful opportunity to do so. So we had the Cyclone Gabriel support concert at Ōtautahi for Aotearoa at the Town Hall, and we donated the venue rental. The event sold out in 6 hours and raised over $200,000 for cyclone relief efforts. So that was a wonderful collaboration with Eccles, and obviously a lot of those entertainers were here for Electric Ave. So it was brilliant and it was wonderful to be able to do it. And then Sail GP, thankfully not today or yesterday, but what an amazing event. And such credit to Council and Christchurch NZ for collaboratively getting that event to the city. It was absolutely amazing, and we were delighted to be able to provide all the culinary services for the event. And what we did there was bring together a lot of local chefs and local producers and actually do it in a collaborative way. So through Venues Ōtautahi, it was just a wonderful thing to be part of and hopefully be part of again, but it really was just a special event. So just wanted to highlight that. And that brings us to the end. So thank you. And any questions?
You normally sing this.
Do you know what? It could be a song.
Thank you so much for that. You always bring such a professional and positive presentation to us, so thank you for that. I guess we might have time for maybe one question. Does anyone have anything? Pauline?
Well, mine's not a question. I just wanted to comment. First of all, it was nice to see you in flat shoes on Saturday.
It was undulating ground.
A lot of people pointed it out. But the food there was cutting edge. It was like, who are those people that do those funny science ones, you know? But it was like that. You didn't know what things were, and And if I thought, oh, I don't know, I don't think I'll try that. Well, don't knock it till you've tried it. So it was compulsory to try everything and full of surprises. I can't speak highly enough of it. Just
Oh,
fantastic. And that fundraising concert, putting that together at such short notice and having such a successful event, I think that just shows that you are doing such a good job and you're right all over it. So well done.
Oh, thank you. Actually, the food there, it was a lot of it foraged from around the peninsula, and obviously all the seafood from, on the peninsula as well. So it was a wonderful story, actually, to be able to tell as well. So,
Right. Aaron?
Yeah, so on the success of your local procurement for your food and beverage, huge applause, it's great. To take it a step further, have you considered having food and beverage ambassadors at events? Like I've had the pleasure of working at a lot of major venues around the country. No one does it yet, but you guys could be the first, where someone comes out and tells the story of the food they're about to experience and why they're experiencing and what it is, and the same with the beverage as well, and kind of, because it's a great story, and as part of an evening taking the people on the journey, I think would be impressive, and you guys would be the first to do it. It's one of those things I think that's missing in the experience at most venues around the country, but when you do hear a chef, and for those here that went to the one, the Antarctic thing they did years ago, it was a bit of a, I don't think it went that well in the end, but they did the dome, and the chefs come out and explained what they did with each dish. That was really impressive, and having that, I think, would be a next level for that great story that you've got.
yeah, I really love that idea. I think also something that we've just released actually into the market is we're organising our own Venues Ōtautahi midwinter event at the arena, which is a celebration of all local food and beverage. So that'll champion all of our local partners and suppliers in an event at the arena with music and street art, and it's all coming together really nicely. But I think that's a nice thing to do, to be able to build the story of our food into the experience.
Good
So
idea.
yeah,
Okay.
thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you. Sam's indicated he'll move the report, and Phil's indicated he'll second. I mean, the mayor. Any debate? All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Cool. Now, thank you very much for coming in.
So we'll move on to
And